多謝主席。司長啊，你琴日發言嗰度咧，我好用心聽你講。你係講到我哋而家現任嘅政府係一個好好嘅團隊精神，但你發言後嗰陣時咧，個雞飛狗走咗啦。咁俾到我睇你講，我又相信你講嗰番説話，但我睇唔到個團體嘅精神喺度。我好多謝你琴日坐足喺度讀，好留心聽，反對聲音好，支持聲音好，但係俾翻啲團體精神，我哋香港人睇，呢個政府唔係淨係林鄭，唔係淨係你司長，我哋想睇一個政府真正可以帶動到我哋可以脫離今日個處境。好多謝你留喺度聽我講嚇。Mr. President, there is a word for the status of affairs.
石禮謙，你除咗個
There's a word for the status of affairs in Hong Kong. I tried to find the word, but I got the word. Is that vandalism? Is it society divisiveness? Is it an illusion? Or is it a nightmare for those who lost in the recent district councils? Or is it a street dream for those who won the election and not knowing why they have won? But finally, I come to the conclusion that the word that I should be used to, that the word I'm going to use to describe the status of affairs in Hong Kong is the word shambles. Our economy is in a shambles. Our society is in a shambles. Our government is an omni-shambles. For the 6 excruciating months, people have been asking, what is the end game to this prolonged chaos? If the chief executive has one in mind, simply it is not working. The last time I checked, over 10,000 tear gas canisters have been fired, and over 5,800 arrests were made. There is still no resolution in the offing. Yet, many of us do have our own end games in mind. Mine is to stay put and make Hong Kong great again. Those with ways and means and thinking the opposite side are mapping out their individual exit plans. Some are voting not just with their feet, but with their cash, equities, and families. Singapore offshore accounts are sprouting like mushroom after spring. We have warned government on this aspect, but it was taken to deaf ears. Many middle-class parents' priority now is sending their kids to study abroad or to international school, a sad state of affairs. Why? It breaks their heart to see their children enter politics prematurely. It's sad and breaks their heart to see their children being arrested. It's sick and hardened, worse, make them sick to see our university being vandalized, damaged. Who's going to pay the price? These are all reasons why they want to send their children overseas. I've seen this situation before 1997. I thought that was something that would never happen, but this is happening. Our government must revert this trend before it becomes irreversible. There's nothing wrong with our education system. There's something wrong with us as legislators and administrators. The people have spoken loud and clear in the district council elections, Mr. President. There are many lessons to be learned, good, bad, whatever it is. We have to accept them and to find way forward. However, as reflected by the Chief Secretary for Administration's speech yesterday to this Council, the government is simply not listening. It is not something that we used to. We thought that we speak, you listen a little. We speak more, you listen to a little more. But this time, for 6 months, we speak, we spoke, we speak again, we spoke, it becomes our spoken words. It was not listened. There is nothing wrong with the rallying cry, 止暴制亂. Yesterday, you used it many times. Stop violence, curb disorder. Indeed, this has to be our immediate goal. The problem is, law enforcement aside, there must be also a political solution to get Hong Kong back on track. Our top officials in transience has placed the police force in an almost impossible position. I have been a member of the IPCC as vice chairman for 6 years. I've never seen things like this happen. The government master plan, or more precisely, Mr. Chief Secretary, the lack of it, has only resulted in a spiral of violence. Even if violence was somehow subsided or stopped and order restored, the deep-rooted social discontent would not disappear. Any lasting solution is bound to involve political give and take. That's why we are here. Nonetheless, our chief executive has simply remained aloof and uncompromising. A roadmap to guide Hong Kong out of the quandary would entail the following 4 steps. We need a clover leaf to direct the flow of boiling public sentiments so as to head off further collisions. And what are those steps? Step 1, thorough investigation, be it whatever you call that. And our chief executive have proposed IPCC, yes, accepted. An examination to examine the problems, I accept it, but by God, do it. Step 2, reshuffle at the top, because like you, 孤軍作戰, and Kerry luckily have you by her side. But what happened to the EXCO? Have they been a good counsel to you? This is something that the society needs answer. The 3rd step is expedite dispensary of justice. A lot of people is criticizing our judicial system. I can assure you there is nothing wrong with it. They are doing exactly what the basic law stipulated them to do. And the last but not the least of this 4th step is long-term reform. That I leave it to you to decide what reforms. I don't have the luxury of time, Mr. President. You have asked me to think about how long I could have to speak. To enlarge this thought today, I will share my 2 cents with colleagues later at the motion of thanks for Chief Executive Policy Address, if we're going to have one. Let me stress at this point that we must adhere to the basic law as our guiding light. Any deviation from the letter or spirit of the mini-constitution would leave us further astray and naked. Mr. President, the motion before us is to invoke Article 73(9) of the Basic Law to form an independent investigation committee to investigate the changes against the Chief Executive for serious breach of law and or dereliction of duty. How can the officers of our government should not hear, not to defend, but at least to show a form of defense to the leader? If my leader, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, like you being attacked, I will be there by your side. In time of crisis, it is only natural for the public to look up to the Chief Executive for hope and leadership. Unfortunately, both are in short supply. The grim reality is, Mr. President, confidence in the police is plummeting. Popularity of the government is, unfortunately, at its lowest. And yes, trust in the Chief Executive is non-existent. I'm very hard with my words, but those hard words are the truth, and it can be changed. However, misguided, insensitive, or even, I wouldn't use the word incompetent, or near to that, the Chief Executive might have been. The fact, it does not amount to a breach of law. There is also no evidence that there has been serious dereliction of duty on her part. In fact, she has been busy exploring legislative and other avenues to empower the police. She has also dished out several schemes to help the ailing industries. She has a heart for Hong Kong. She is by far the best of the lot that we have four. I don't think these are the right antidotes about the measures that she put in. Nonetheless, one cannot say she is not trying. What can you expect that for a chief executive without the guidance and counsels of the most trusted lot? That's why I call for reshuffle at the top. Let me remind the honorable sponsors of this motion. It was the chief executive eagerness to fulfill her duty to address the Taiwan murder case that has led us into this political quagmire. But she has given an end to the issues. What we are now facing is totally different. Many people have questioned the chief executive ability, approach, and attitude in governing Hong Kong. Many, including myself, hold her responsible. Why not? They are all responsible officials. Nonetheless, let me repeat, that doesn't constitute a breach of law or dereliction of duty. The chief executive is still to pay her annual duty revisit to Beijing in a week or so. I hope after this last nasty 6 months, she is finally in a position to present to our presidency not just a workable plan to restore social harmony, but also a blueprint to reboot Hong Kong to where we were before May 2019. Mr. President, I pray that Chief Executive will prove her critics wrong. By God, she must. I wish she could bring us such a pleasant surprise as an early Christmas gift for all of us in Hong Kong. With this, I'll oppose the motion.